We'll call the City of Peru Common Council meeting for February 2nd, 2015 to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Steve Goff and remain standing for the invocation by Pastor Rod Carell.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father, we come to you and thank you for this day. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for all that you do in our lives, God. We know that without you, we couldn't make it. Father, we come and ask for your help tonight, for strength, your wisdom, for our council and leaders of our city. We pray your blessing upon them. Lord, thank you for keeping us safe yesterday during the storm. And we pray, Lord, that you continue to keep your hand upon us, guide and direct us, Father, by your Spirit. In Jesus' name, amen.
Roll call.
Alley.
Here.
Goff.
Here.
Greer.
Here.
Guston.
Here.
Koskoff.
Here.
Lee. Here. Torrance.
Here.
All present. Reading and correcting of the journal.
Move we suspend the rules and dispense with the reading and correcting of the journal.
Second.
Has been moved by Councilman Crosco, second by Councilman Allett to suspend the rules and reading and correcting of the journal. Any question? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Communications.
I have update on the Civic Center. In January, they had 154 people use the center, and they were able to return $182.71 back to the city. And for the year 2014, they returned to the city $2,254.09. That's basically all I have.
Okay, very good. Mr. C, please.
Building Zoning Code Enforcement Monthly Report. Commercial and new rehabilitation permits, we had 1. Building complaints, we had 8. Code enforcements, we had 10. Consults and meetings regarding building, we had 11. Meeting consults regarding code enforcement was 4. Consults in regards to zoning, we had 10. Residential electrical permits was 1. Residential new rehabilitation permits, we had 3. And residential roofing permits were 1. That's it.
Kind of busy.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Adrian Roach. He has some information on the park master plan. So, Adrian, if you come to the podium, please. David, is that microphone on at the podium? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Adrian Roach, Park Director. Past 5 months, we've been doing our 5-year master plan. We have submitted this to the Indiana DNR and waiting for a response back. Take time to look at it if you could. It's online or up in the city clerk treasurer's office. Time to make any changes we want now. We would like your guys' input at that time and see what you can do to help us out. So if you have any questions, you know I'm always available, and just let us know.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
Okay. Going into our unfinished business, the first item is ordinance number 1, 2015.
An ordinance establishing user fees and authorizing a financial policy for ambulance and transport service provided by the Peru Fire Department.
I move we adopt ordinance number 1, 2015.
I second that.
Has been moved by Councilman Crosco, second by Councilman Guston to adopt ordinance number 1, 2015. Questions? Chief, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'll just explain what we're doing here. This is for the fire department. In 2010, we put our first ambulance in service at Station 1. And again, just to reiterate, when Dukes is at level 0, then we're their backup. Then 2 years ago, we bought our second ambulance and put it at Station 2. And that process is working really well. Our ambulance runs are up to about a 10-run average now per month. And so this is just to adjust our emergent transports. We have been $400 plus $12 a loaded mile. And again, if you guys remember when we put this in service, we only collect what insurance pays. We write off the rest. But with Medicare and Medicaid on emergent runs, they will pay more and supplies are going up. So our new fee schedule is going to be $400 for non-emergent and then $600 for emergent. And that helps us buy fees and put some money back to tires, wear and tear on the ambulances. So we're just adjusting the rate that we put in service back in 2010. Okay?
Any questions?
What was the rate before?
Chief?
Sorry, Chief, what was the rate before?
400. We've been charging, when we put this in effect, it was $400 for both emergent and non-emergent. So we're just adjusting the emergent runs. And again, that's where we spend the most on supplies. So this will help us with our supply reimbursement.
You know what that compares with?
Yes. Service we're there, non-emergent is somewhere around $700 and emergent's over $1,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Further questions? Any questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call.
Allie,
Yes.
Goff,
Yes.
Greer,
Yes.
Guston,
Yes.
Crosskoff,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Torrance.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next item is ordinance number 4, 2015.
An ordinance to appropriate from the unappropriated general fund to the police budget the sum of $4,463.
Adopt ordinance number 4, 2015.
Second.
We had a plethora there. It's been moved by Councilman Crosskoff, seconded by Councilwoman Lee to adopt ordinance number 4, 2015. Questions? Jackie, that's to adjust for the chief's pay, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just to reiterate on this, when Chief Rating came in, we adjusted his salary upward because he's not going to be using the insurance benefit, health insurance benefit. He had that prior. So to, get the benefit package as close to what the other one was, we bumped up his salary since we lost it on the insurance side. And that's the reason we did that. Any questions? Questions from the audience? Seeing none, roll call.
Allie,
Yes.
Goff,
Yes.
Greer,
Yes.
Guston,
Yes.
Crosskoff,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Torrance.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next item is ordinance number 5, 2000.
Ordinance to appropriate public safety Lowit to the public safety Lowit budget the sum of $27,945.
Move we adopt ordinance 15.
I'll second that.
Been moved by Councilman Crosskoff, second by Councilwoman Torrance to adopt ordinance 5, 2015. Questions? On this SRO, we've been talking with Prue Schools about this. At one time, we were talking about maybe providing an officer from our staff up there. They are looking into the possibility of creating their own department up there. And so instead of providing an officer, we said that we would supply funding to help with their cost for one officer to be at the school, and it would be strictly their employee. We would help supply funding, but it would not be an employee of the Prue Police Department. So this is what we had offered to go with for the school resource officer program. So, I'd entertain any questions you may have on that.
I really think this is sad that we have to do this, but we've got to take care of our kids. I never thought I'd ever live to see something like this, but I'm for it 100% because I think it's absolutely necessary.
Any other questions? Questions from the audience?
Okay. What has been said for as far as the training and all that for the police officer force? And where are they getting their police officers from?
They're going to be going through the same procedure like what we would do with any police officer, because they do have to be qualified and they got to do all the firearms instructor. What we did in the beginning was they would use instructor to qualify in that area. If they can become their own department, then they would have a chief and they would be responsible for most of that type of activity, or that activity in general, I guess. And so they will get their own training, and I think this year we fill it, when is it, to July? To July, we will still be on it through the old plan, but then going forward, they would be a member of the Peru High School SRO program and be responsible for all that.
These officers go to like academy, like are the regular
Is
officers?
it academy, or they have to just qualify? Because a lot of them are retired officers and some of them are still qualified.
I know that. Good go.
And I think, maybe Terry, you married, or anyone,
I met
if you're
him.
retired within so many, was it 5 years?
Just
You don't have to go?
Ron Whitney's who it is, state trooper.
Yeah,
I met him in a meeting just recently.
yeah,
He's a good guy.
yeah.
He gets along good. He's worked so hard, and the kids here in the community, teaching, coaching, and all kinds of things in our community for a long time.
Yeah, but no, some of them, if they've just retired recently, then some of the qualifications they have, they just go on, they have to renew it. If you're past that date, then you have to go through to
Right.
become an SRO. But we just thought on this, it'd be easier for us to say, we'll help, supply the funding instead of providing an officer and, trying to take care of them being on our benefits and all that. It would just be easier to supply funding for one officer. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Came to observe, but I've got some questions. This is not to supply an officer, but to help with the security of the school, with the SRO program.
Right.
I'm just curious why, I mean, there's some, are we helping Mechanical also? Seeing that there are taxpayers in that school district and we're paying both taxes, is there any plan to like take a portion of that and help with that?
The county has an officer in Mechanical.
Yeah.
I know,
Am I
but doesn't Peru?
at
we-
Mechanical?
No, at Peru, don't they have an officer?
We are using the tax dollars that we have here. Now granted, there may be, in your case, you're saying you're a Peru taxpayer and you pay
Right, and there are
Peru's.
a lot, not a lot, but there are some Mechanical people that live in Mechanical district that actually pay city taxes. Maybe I'd like some of that money to go to the help with the Mechanical SRO program.
We've never been approached in that way. We were approached by Peru schools.
So, okay, so you have to be approached.
There would be a discussion. I can't promise one way or the other on that.
Okay.
But if as a taxpayer, if they want to question anything, they're more than welcome to come in and we talk to them about it. Okay. Any other questions from the audience?
The people in the city of Peru do pay county taxes, so we're paying for a county Mechanical. Our county taxes, as the city of Peru residents, paying for the Miami County wages for the officers. So, and Miami County officer is in Mechanical schools.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes.
The $27,945 assistance, does that save the city a significant amount of revenue going that route versus what we do now with an officer?
Well, if we had an officer, we was paying him their full, their basic salary plus insurances and everything else, it would be more than 27,000. Yeah.
It'd be about double that amount.
Are the schools paying for Mr. Whitney's salary? Is that what they're taking it out of their own? Okay.
There are 5 off the SRO program, and then they have, I don't know how many more that are substitutes whenever somebody can't be there, whenever somebody's ill. So there are 5 full-time, and then they do have individuals that they pay, it's almost $21 an hour. So it's, I don't have it on this email, but I think it's close to $21 an hour is the hourly rate that they pay the SROs. But 5 of them are full-time. They're the permanent within the school. So there's a permanent at Peru High School. There's a permanent at Blair Point, Elmwood,
Junior
Keys
high.
Academy,
Keys Academy now, or junior high.
and the junior high. So that's the person that's there every
So the
day.
Peru schools are picking up their salaries,
Correct.
but Mechanical, the county taxpayers that are.
I don't know how Mechanical
I
work that out.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. They may supply some of it. If not, if they approach the county council, they could certainly do that.
I don't know how Mechanical School does it. I
think
know
there-
the schools received grant dollars from the state in order, I think it was $50,000.
Yeah.
Was it 50,000,
50,000,
Steve? Yeah. So grant dollars were awarded to some of the side for the grants, and then I'm not sure how the rest of the wages are paid out at Mechanical.
Any other questions?
Ally?
Yes.
Goff?
Yes.
Greer?
Yes.
Guston?
Yes.
Crosskoff?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Torrance?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item is ordinance number 6,
An ordinance to the unappropriated general fund to the Board of Works budget, the sum of $56,545.
Move we adopt ordinance number 6, 2000.
Second.
Has been moved by Councilman Crosskopf, second by Councilman Goff, to adopt ordinance number 6, 2015. Questions? Jackie, you've been working with Collinger as much as anybody. You want to explain to them what this is all about?
City Hall, the same key for all the doors for the last, when was this building built, 82? Was it 82? 32 years? Whenever somebody leaves, we don't know where some of the keys go, so there are 32 years worth of keys to this building out there. The keys can be duplicated, and that's just not secure. So there have been some items missing from different places, and some other issues that we dealt with security. And in this time, there's so many different options out there in order to secure the building in lots of different ways. And so we made contact with a couple of security companies. We got some bids. The one that we went with was Collinger Security. Kim Collinger is the representative that we've been working with. But what we'll do is we'll have key cards to get into some of the doors, and then the other doors will have a different cylinder put in them so that the keys that have been out there for 32 years, and we don't know how many have been made beyond the keys that have been out there given to individuals, those keys will be replaced. So there'll be new cylinders put in some doors, and in other doors there will be a key card that you'll have to access the door. There is a software system that will accompany that. And so say we have a meeting here one evening and somebody needs to get in, then we can give a one-time card to that individual and give them access to one door or to specific doors. There will be some individuals that will have access to all doors. And then employees will have a card, and those cards will allow them to get into specific doors. So what you have that's been attached to your ordinance is the hardware option, where they'll all be wired, the proximity cards, and then it talks about the network, and then the network software, and yeah, and all the cylinders for the doors. So we've gotten counts for all the doors. We've reviewed all the doors to find out which ones will get the cards and then which ones will get the cylinders.
Do you have an annual maintenance?
No.
Okay.
No. If there are issues, we can always contact them, and they have a service representative that comes out. But a lot of it is computerized. The key cards and those types of things are computerized. We'll have a tower that will be specifically set for this security system only. There will be nothing else on the tower, and it'll be stored in the network server room, but that'll be the only thing on there is just this specific piece of software on that tower for the proximity cards.
On the software, you'll also know who gained access? The name will be there?
Yes, because each card will have a specific number assigned to a specific person. So we'll know who has accessed which door at which point, when they entered, what door they, made access to, and
Any other questions from the council?
Of the other options we looked into, I don't know, 56,000 seems like a really high number.
it isn't. The other one was 70,000, so.
Is there any option, because that's with the software and the card access, the card key access?
Yeah.
Okay. And there wasn't any discussion about not going with the card keys, or?
No, there was another option that was
49.
Yeah, that was wireless. And that wasn't, the wireless, after we calling her the wireless, there was also an issue with the police department in Anderson, or City Hall in Anderson. They've had some failures and some issues with the wireless option. That's why they're all going to be hardwired. It was to have the doors hardwired instead of going wireless.
Is your question about going with the key cards? Is that what your question?
Yeah, just what other options besides key cards?
Well, the key card, you can control it a lot better. I mean, if you give somebody a key and they leave and they take the key with them,
Right, yeah,
with a key card, you can just deactivate it.
right.
So better security.
And there were key fobs available. You could have a key fob that you would wear on your keychain or whatever that you would scan, but that was even more expensive. In order to know in order to say who could access what door and who would enter which door, then we needed to have the proximity cards or the fobs. Otherwise, we're kind of throwing our money to the wind if all we're going to do is replace locks and then hand keys out to everyone again.
Jackie, is there any maintenance cost on this at all?
No, everything, if there are updates in the software, then we'll just download the update on the software. But as far as once everything is installed, I mean, I'm sure that there will be issues that will come about where we'll have to call them and, ask for repair or ask for something. That's just with anything, but, it's pretty maintenance-free once it's installed.
Once it's in?
Could I?
Yes.
It sounds like what we use as realtors, right, Terry? And it's
Right,
very
it is.
secure and
It's similar.
It's very similar. And when you put that key card in, your name pops up, the time, the company you're with, and you can give one-day codes, and that is nice. And if your card goes, like I've worn out my card, they provide a new one. I wore my card out, yeah. So it is, money-wise, I'm not sure how it compared to our system, but it's pretty slick. Pretty slick system.
Miami County uses Collinger Security and the schools. So we've checked references, looked at, who we were going with and made contact with those individuals. The schools had nothing but good to say about as far as how the system works and as far as if there's an issue getting them to the building. They were very pleased with this company, so.
Any other questions from the audience? Mr. C.
I have done some research on the wireless versus the hardwired systems, and some of the wireless systems are able to be hacked into, and so the hardwired is a better, more secure at this time.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Question from the audience or the council? Yeah, good. Roll call.
Alley?
Yes.
Goff?
Yes.
Greer?
Yes.
Guston?
Yes.
Crosskoff?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Torrance?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next item is ordinance number 7, 2015.
An ordinance to appropriate from the unappropriated unsafe building fund budget the sum of $72,000.
Move we adopt ordinance number 7, 2015.
Moved by Councilman Crosskoff, second by Councilman Guston to adopt ordinance 7, 2015. Questions? This is just moving the money into the...
This is just the amount of money that was left at the end of 2014. So we'll have this amount of money from 2014 placed in the budget for 2015, and then there's $100,000 budgeted in 2015. So this will just make it so that it's available to utilize whenever we need it.
Questions?
Yes, I have. Will this apply to the houses that were supposed to be taken down in 2013 that didn't happen?
This is just having the money there, so what's on the list, this, make sure the money's there that we can act on it immediately. This is, as Jackie said, leftover from 2014.
Yeah.
So it's in the unappropriated, so now we got to stick it over so we can spend out of it. And so we're just moving the leftover money into this budget so we can move forward on projects.
But all those houses have passed through everything, they're just waiting to be torn down.
But I'm going to say, as far as I know,
They
and
have
Bruce
been.
Carson would be the one that we can
Yeah,
get the
they have
direct answer.
been, because I've attended
Yeah,
2 or 3 different meetings on it,
yeah.
yeah.
But Bruce is in charge of that, and I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
speak out of turn, and so
Well-
that's a question he'd be the better one to answer, what his project list is.
I think this will do a lot for the look, attractive, make our Peru look a little bit more attractive, make your neighborhoods and people living beside you that makes your property look bad all the time.
Well, the thing is, if you say we're going to be able to do more this year, if you remember, we have the $813,000
Yeah.
that comes from the blight elimination money that we got in the grant that Bruce applied for
Yep.
and received, so you can kind of commingle that with this, because it's all demolition money. You know, the sad thing about it, Phyllis, as you well know, you look at 72,000, said, well, we can do a lot with that, or the 150,000, 170,000, whatever it ends up being. That doesn't do a lot of homes. You know, because you're talking, if it's a large home, a 2-story home in between 2 houses and they're real close together, that's solid. Then you got a basement to fill in, and you have all that other, you're not going to get that done for nothing. You can spend $20,000 pretty easy on something like that.
Well, I know a lot that go into these meetings and all, I know a lot of houses that have been passed through everything, pictures taken and everything, and then I'll look at something else where they tore a building down, never even went through the following steps.
Well, I will say this, Bruce Carson is doing a great job of trying to
Yeah,
get these things
well,
in order. And
Yeah, he's
so-
better than what we had, I'll go along with that.
But anyway, I'm just saying he's trying to get a plan put together to get it done a little quicker, so. Okay. Any other questions from the council? Questions from the audience? Roll call.
Alley,
Yes.
Goff,
Yes.
Greer,
Yes.
Guston,
Yes.
Crosskoff,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Florence.
Yes,
Motion carries. Next item is ordinance number 18.
An ordinance to appropriate from the unappropriated bond proceeds fund to the bond proceeds budget the sum of $356,000.
Move we adopt ordinance number 18.
Second.
Has been moved by Councilman Crosskoff, second by Councilman Goff, to adopt ordinance number 8, 2015. Questions? I think what Jackie can speak on it, this is what was left over in the bond fund that we took out years ago. This is what's remaining in that fund, so you have to move it over so you'll be able to spend it. And then if it's not all spent this year, you're going to go through the same thing in following years. So this is just moving the money that was left over from 2014 into the 2015 spendability. Any questions on that? Questions from the audience? Like I said, just so everybody's aware, whenever there's money unspent at the end of a year, you have to move it back in so you can spend it the next year, you know, from unappropriated to appropriated, so it's able to be spent. If not, you got a longer process, and if you're in that year, you don't want to wait 2 months to get it through the other way. So this makes it really available if projects come up and you have to spend it. No. See? I'm sorry, did I hear something? Oh, okay. No other questions? Yes.
Is this from that $1.3 million bond from 2012?
Yes. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Tell me we don't use city workers to tear some of these buildings down,
We have in the past, sir.
but how come we don't?
There's some of them, if they are real close together, the 2-story homes, we don't have the equipment to get 2-story homes down. But if it's a small home and it's where we're not going to cause any damage to following homes, we have done that in the past to save money.
So would it be cheaper to buy a little equipment, be cheaper to buy a little bit of equipment?
Well, to buy a large excavator to do what they'd want and everything like that. I don't know if you're going to be saving some money like that when we have a lot of individuals here that, are helping their business. But we do use them or have used them in the past on smaller projects, ones that we can handle. Plus, our guys, if we do that, then we're taking them off of what they're normally doing for the day, off their trash routes or street projects or whatever. So sometimes we don't have the luxury to do that. Okay, one other? Yes.
So, do we have in all these individual different funds because of the trash fees we added to the pre-utilities budget?
No. Mm-mm.
Why do we have numbers that are that far off from the year before. I mean, did we just guess wrong what we were gonna spend?
Now, if you look at this budget, as Mr. Bunker stated, this is from a bond issue, and we had certain things that we're doing. Some of those projects have not been completed yet. So that when you don't complete the project, the money sits there, and you have to bring it up next year, so hopefully you can complete that project in the following year. So you have, the time frame that you like to get them done in, but sometimes you can't get them all done in a year, and we knew that. So some of this money just rolls over, and you have to reappropriate it. As far as the trash fee fund, no, that all goes to offset, as we mentioned back then, to make sure that we can continue the trash service and pay for the circuit breaker losses that we were experiencing. And it has worked because we had no circuit breaker losses for this year's budget. Anyone else? Roll.
Yes.
Goff.
Yes.
Greer.
Yes.
Guston.
Yes.
Crosskoff.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Torrance.
Yes.
Motion carries. That's all under the unfinished business. We'll move into new business. And the first item is ordinance number 9, 2015.
An ordinance to appropriate for the fire territory to the fire territory budget the sum of $12,000.
Move we consider ordinance 15.
Second.
That's been moved by Councilman Crossfield, second by Councilwoman Lee, to consider ordinance number 9, 2015. Roll call.
Alley.
Yes.
Goff.
Yes.
Greer.
Yes.
Guston.
Yes.
Crosskoff.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Torrance.
Yes.
Okay, that one will come back next month. And again, for those of you who are new, since this is a monetary sum that we're asking for, it's a 2 reading, so you can only consider it 1 month and adopt it the next month. That's why the ones we did, all the ones we did earlier, those were all considered last month, and we're adopting them this month. That way, if somebody reads this, they have an opportunity to come in and voice a concern about what we're doing with the funds. So these will all, this one and the next one will come back next month for final vote. Next item is ordinance number 10, 2015.
An ordinance to amend section 1.18 of the City Approved Code of Ordinances.
Move we consider ordinance number 10, 2015.
Second.
Has been moved by Councilman Crossman. Ordinance number 10, 2015. Roll call.
Alley.
Yes.
Greer.
Yes.
Guston.
Yes.
Crosskoff.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Torrance.
Yes.
Motion carries. And again, this one will come back next month for final vote on this. Yes.
Being new to this, trying to figure it out, you said it would come back next month because it was a monetary thing. Do all ordinance be opened up for discussion and then voted on the next month, or could it just be brought up and voted?
Some of them can be considered and adopted in the same meeting. But whenever you're spending money, that way we can advertise it, and you as a taxpayer, the community, if you have a concern about spending and you weren't able to make tonight in paper, you'd come back next month and before we actually.
Not necessarily the whole city ordinances that someone brought up. They could bring it up the same night and then vote on it that.
There are some things you can consider and adopt in the same evening, yes. Okay. That is everything on the agenda for this evening. Does anybody have anything else to come before the council? Mr. C?
I just want to talk about the solid waste, where we stood, what the process will be in the future, and some of the things. Mr. Guston?
What? Are you talking about those mattresses?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, everyone is charged $30 in the county for a fee for recycling. In the past, we have also included, along with white goods, picking up illegal dumps. And we've been doing that since I've been involved with it. And one of the things that we had discussed was, should we keep doing that or not? We've been doing it all this time, and people are paying that fee. Well, I didn't think we need to keep going, and Josh Francis agreed with me. And so we voted on it, and we've said, yes, those mattresses need to be picked up, and they're going to be picked up, and it's included in the service with white goods. And that includes people within the city, too, because they pay that fee, too.
What about, there's some gray area between the mattress remains and the mattresses that are intact. There's people that are harvesting the mattress springs, and they're leaving what I call the carcass.
We still have to pick them up, Danny. It's still
Well, it's
like an
solid
illegal
waste
dump.
Because they refused to pick that up in the past.
Well,
said it is not.
they
it
will
is
be
not a
picking
bad-
them up. Are you listening? Stop talking and listening.
I'm just confirming.
I'm just telling you, that's an illegal dump and it will be picked up.
Okay, and that would
Punto.
include vacant lots as well, like people that come in, okay. Well, so far, so good. We're doing something to consider also, which is not necessarily solid waste, but is something that's happening in the city, is there are vacant lots and there are people coming in, I think from the outside, they're dumping trash in these lots, and the trash bags are just plain trash are piling up. Is it just something to consider? And I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but the probability of the city picking that up, charging that property for the trash pickup, and then basically incurring a lien on that property so that they will eventually be reimbursed. Just consider.
I really
something.
hate that.
What?
Let me give you an example of somebody outside the city. Craig Boyer. Do you know Craig? He's a farmer, lives out near Converse. His property runs along a railroad. And in the back part of his property, people were dumping big things, refrigerators, you name it. And he got sick and tired of it, so he went back with a big, help me out here. He dug a big hole and pushed everything in it and buried it, and the EPA came to him and said, So he had to pay to remove all of that stuff from his property. Okay? He had to pay for it. So I hate that, but the people that own the property are gonna have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Just because we have folks that like to dump their stuff anywhere.
Denny, are you talking about trash, like trash, the household waste and that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
Being done?
just bag trash.
Tell you what we're trying to do, and Bill McQueen is with it.
Oh, yeah.
But our drivers on the trash routes, they know some of these homes that are empty. And if they see people putting trash behind a garage or something, and they think, oh, we got to pick it up. If they notice and they know that house is empty, they will call Bill. A lot of times they'll go open the bag and they'll pull out an envelope and they'll call the people and say, you left your trash here, you need to come get it.
That's good. I know that was going.
So, I mean, we can't do it every day because sometimes they might miss some, but there has been times when they have actually gone in and looked at the trash and tried to do it. But the guys, the thing that we don't want our guys just going in there and reaching in and seeing what they can find, because there is a concern. Because a lot of times in these trash bags, there could be hypodermic needles in there. And we don't want them getting stuck with that because you don't know what somebody did with that needle prior. So we got to be careful with that. But we do try to find that. And a lot of times we pick it up and you know, they didn't inspect it or something along that line, so they thought somebody actually lived there. But they are trying to find those and doing what's right.
It's just a curiosity
Yeah.
I had. Right now, things are pretty quiet on that front, but when the snow melts, it's all going to come to reality, so. Just saying.
Well, these people that dump this, they just continue to do that. I've had Denny take pictures of a house that I'm particular, nice property, between all this and that. It's terrible what they've got all out and back, and they just keep adding and adding and adding. And I don't know how many times that I've had you out there. You said you'd take care of it. It's still there, Danny.
Really?
That's been past summertime, in the summertime. It's still there, and they have added more to it. And then on another thing on this solid waste, I had a gentleman call me, and he said, well, I'm an elderly gentleman, and I can't cart my stuff up to that solid waste dropout. What am I supposed to do, Phyllis? And he said, yeah, they take it as long as I bring it up there. And I said, well, I think you need to get hold of City Hall and anybody else, they can steer you in what direction that you come to get some help. He said, I'm 80, I don't know, 84, 85. He said, I can't cart a TV up there. And then I guess there's just certain days, he said, you can do this.
Well, if they'll call, they'll come and pick it up.
Uh-huh, they say they won't. They
Well, they
can't do it.
will, because they came to my house and picked it up.
Well, you know what, you're a councilman too, aren't you?
No, they won't.
You think that helps?
I don't use that card, Phyllis.
I know, but I'm sure that they're well aware of that.
Well, Phyllis, let's go back to the point you made about the house that you discussed with me last summer. We have sent several notifications. We're trying to
I know.
find the owner of that place, and it goes no place. We can't catch up with anybody that owns that or takes any responsibility for that. But there are people moving in and out of that. I see smoke coming out of the chimney. I look at this property about once every 2 weeks. I'm by that. I was by that property today.
Dennis, did you get my voicemail about a property when there was trash in the back?
When did you send that? Oh, yeah, it was last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I didn't know where we're at with that
He
one.
was so upset when he
Okay.
was talking because he was frustrated.
I've
about,
already
you know.
sent notifications.
And I said, you know,
out
I
on
know what
Okay.
you're talking
There were two
about.
properties that I
Right.
looked at that had it. One of them is the contractor's going to clean it up. And the other one, we had to send notifications because I couldn't find anybody in that.
I've never even used it.
Thank you.
All the years that I've been,
Appreciate it.
I've never even used it.
Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, like I said, I came here to listen and learn, but I don't want to leave and without maybe a question I would like to have answered. About earlier, I was talking about the difference between, you know, the city's taxes going towards helping with an SRO, which you said the school came to you and asked for those. And so if I, my corporation to do that, I need to talk to them and make an approach then.
Now, keep in mind one thing, because I think what Jackie said earlier, you know, they pay county taxes for that school corporation as well. And then, okay, so there's some money there. But if let's say, and I don't know the breakdown, let's just say that 90% of the residents in the city of Peru attend and pay taxes for Peru Community Schools.
Right.
10%
Right.
pay for Mechanical. They're not going to get the same amount of money.
I understand that.
And I'm
I
not
understand
promising
that.
anything. I'm
I
saying
understand.
there could be a discussion
Right.
about that, and I'm not saying where that would go, but it can't be,
But
oh, well, you gave them.
My question was, when Jackie made a comment about, and I didn't follow it, about the city taxpayers also pay county taxes.
Yes, we do.
Because Peru, because Peru is in Miami County.
Right, I fully
You pay
understand
Peru
that,
taxes
but-
and Miami County
Right,
taxes.
right, exactly.
Okay.
I was trying to see how that related to the Mechanical schools, though. I mean, when you said,
Well, because if we supply maybe somebody, a sheriff's deputy goes out there, the residents of the city of Peru are paying for that too.
right,
Because we pay for the sheriff's department just like everybody else.
right, but
I'm not saying that the city of Peru residents pay for Mechanical. What I'm saying is the
Okay.
city of Peru residents pay county taxes. So if Miami County Auditor's Office pays a sum to Mechanical schools to pay for that SRO.
right, that's what
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I need to find out, because
Yeah.
you said it was probably through a grant, so there's no county taxpayers' money paying for that SRO.
No, I
There's
didn't say there wasn't any.
Okay.
There would have to be some,
Okay.
because if they receive $50,000 and they pay each one $28,000, and I know that we have 5 full-time, I don't know how many Mechanical has.
We have one, as far as I know.
I don't know how many they
And-
have.
Okay,
I think you need to take that up with the Mechanical School Board,
right.
right? So,
Right. But my point was, I didn't think that the city taxes were paying, if the Mechanical is getting a grant. Obviously, if part of the county taxes are paying for that, then obviously the city taxpayers are also paying for that. That's what I wanted to clear up.
Yeah.
But if the county is not doing that and the school's doing it themselves or getting a grant, then the city taxpayers are not paying for the SRO.
Unless the SRO is being